Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing instantaneous Thai visa rule changes and how it can be sort of the bane of expat existence. Thought of making this video after reading a recent comment on our channel, quoting directly, "Why do they insist on implementing this right away? Why not make the announcement now, but the commencement date will be 6 or 12 months in the future so people can prepare for it?" Yeah, great point. And this is something that a lot of folks who've been around over here for a while, and especially in our office and things that we get really upset about is when we see them come down the pike with rule changes and they just instantaneously say, okay, that's the new rule. And you'll have people in an office on the day who've prepared things in advance and they'll say, oh, we need this now. And you're sitting there going, well, when did you decide that? Well, this morning. And it's like, you know, notice periods are nice. It was something I sort of cottoned onto in, well, really going back 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. For example, they brought out the insurance requirement. When they brought out the insurance requirement on retirement visas, they phased that in. That didn't just come out and that was immediately applied. They said, hey, this is going to be a requirement on the OA retirement visa, and then they phased it in. They also had a cash option where you could show money in a bank account to sort of meet the, if you will, meet the requirement associated with the retirement visa, and they phased that in as well. So it seemed like the prior government kind of, they had been in power for long enough that they understood it, I think, but they sort of understood the notion of you kind of want to put people on notice before you implement something. Since we've had this new government since 2023, they've varying degrees of this, but they seem, frankly, they've been all over the map. I've discussed this with the Destination Thailand visa. The rollout associated with that was, in my opinion, a disaster. We're seeing the fallout from it now, especially in terms of negative coverage of Thailand, especially in social media. And when you look at it, it's almost all directed at Destination Thailand visa problems because of the way it was rolled out. It was not well thought out. They did not get a consensus from both internal immigration authorities as well as folks who deal with immigration matters outside of Thailand. I'm not going to go into that too much further, but again, this issue of instantaneously just changing the rules and then people, you know, are just stuck living with it in the moment, I would say that's a fair criticism from the expat community. I think it would be a good idea if in the future more and more policymakers would say, hey, we're changing the rules, this is going to be the rule, but it comes into effect 90 days from now or 30 days from now. You know, to do it instantly, it really causes a lot of problems for folks. And in the social media era, where people's complaints are sort of immediately registered in the ether of the internet and have the ability to go viral, it can have a negative impact on, if you want to call it brand Thailand, sort of Thailand's brand in the world. And that's good for nobody here in Thailand. So frankly, I would like to see maybe something be done about that in the future. And hopefully in the future, when they do come out with new policies, they go ahead and at least give us a notice date before implementation.